teams, she felt you could go against guys and score 40. Now, guys and their egos would probably say no, right? I'm sure you play against guys, though. I know you do.
Yeah, I definitely do.
So you saw a lot of defensive coverages. Coach Mabry, to me, is one of the best coaches, regardless of class, in the state. Tell us a little bit about that game and how maybe Eldorado on top again. So tell us a little bit about that game and how the defensive coverages might have changed a little bit from the first game when you had 53. Amazing. I had you last year when you had 50 against West Mesa. Tell us a little bit about the defensive coverages Coach Mabry threw at you last night.
Definitely the first game we played against them, they played straight up man-to-man, and it was basically the same thing. They'd show a double team every now and then, but I already knew they were going to come physical, aggressive. We already beat them once, so I knew they were going to come 10 times harder at us, trying to beat us. So we just came in confident as a team, and then I knew they were going to throw a gimmick defense or they were going to put their best defender on me, which is Deja Jack. She's only a freshman, but she always gives me a good competition. We work out together, so it was good comp. But, I just feel like we were on top, and we came in ready, and we just had a chip on our shoulder every game.
You hadn't played in a while, I don't believe. Is it? No, you had played during the Christmas tournament around?
No, we had a whole break then. So we were just practicing, scrimmaging against each other.
And of course, you're always in the gym putting up shots. I talked to Coach Hill today, and we'll get to that in a minute. Deja Jack, her father, Eric Jack, the former UNM football star, played in the pros, played for the Atlanta Falcons. And Eric Jack and I used to play a lot of basketball against each other back in the day at Johnson Gym. Coach Nunez, go ahead.
Yeah, Bella, just wanted to ask what you thought about your team's performance in the Metro tournament. You guys went 3-1. You beat Cleveland. You beat Valley. You beat Rio Rancho. And you guys lost to La Cueva. Tell us what you thought about your team's performance in the Metro tournament.
I'm proud of us. I'm always super proud of us. We fell short to La Cueva, but we still played them 2 more times. We didn't show them a lot. In Metro, we came out a little bit slow in the first half, picked it up in the second. So, you can't beat a team coming out slow in the first half. So, we'll come back for Cueva ready, but I'm super proud of our performance. I feel like we've grown a lot since last year, so I'm always happy with our performance.
Did you get a chance to check out the APS Metro Championship with La Cueva and Volcano Vista?
I did. It was a great matchup. Those are 2 good teams going head-to-head, and those are actually the 2 losses we have. And to Sandia, of course, but they're 2 tough teams, so we're just ready to keep playing and keep pushing, and we're looking forward to playing them again.
Bella, we're going to go over some, you're averaging 33.3. I want to mention some players on your roster. This is your team: Isabel Roberts, Robin Jaramillo, Chioma Holyfield, Christina Robeldo. How do you say that?
I don't even know. Nobody knows how to say her name.
Robeldo, I think. Marilyn Begood, Samantha Montoya, Addison Arndt, Liberty Arndt, Caitlin Lewis, and Bailey Rolke. The player I want to talk a little bit about is Chioma Holyfield. Now, according to your mom, she worked out a lot with you, and she's got some good bloodlines. Some of her brothers played, and she was raw when I saw her. The average is 11.8 rebounds per game, that's pulling down some boards. But I think there's been some Bailey Rolke, I think, as a junior, averages 5 rebounds a game. I think there's a lot of potential there with Bailey Rolke. She's just growing still into her body. She's only a junior, and long and lanky, still kind of maturing. But tell us a little bit about the improvement of Chioma Holyfield, who, like I said, we've seen her grow by leaps and bounds.
Chioma Holyfield has definitely been a huge factor to us being so successful this year. She's a great defensive player, great rebounder, great leader for our team, and she's a senior, and I feel like she's just really she's not looked upon as much as she should be, just because Chioma's improved so much. And I got to give a lot of credit to Coach Ellis for that one, just because he worked with her so much throughout the summer. She actually came and played for ABC during the summer, which also helped her a ton, especially with Jay Hill, and just being able to teach her a lot more footwork and stuff like that. But Chioma's improved so much, and I couldn't be more proud of her.
Coach?
Bella, I want to ask you a little bit about your club team since you brought that up. Not so much about ABC Prep, but your club team, the CY Fair Elite. Did a little bit of research on that and found out that you play with Aaliyah Chavez from Lubbock, who is the 3rd leading scorer in the country according to Max Prep. She averages just over 37 points a game. You're the 4th leading scorer in the nation according to Max Preps, averaging over 33 points a game. What's it like to play with somebody who's on your level, where you're not the primary ball handler down the floor, you're not the number 1 scoring option all the time? We know you in New Mexico as that. Everyone who's a fan of you, everybody who watches you. But what's it like playing on the club scene with Aaliyah Chavez?
It's amazing. I couldn't ask for a better teammate. She's the best floor general you could possibly have. She's a pass-first point guard. I know a lot of people see her as a shooting guard first, but when you play with her, it's like a different type of experience. She always hits her open teammates. She pushes the pace super well. It's just such a blessing to have her as a teammate. She's a great friend. She's like my best friend on the court, on and off the floor. So we always keep in contact, always have little competitions with our scoring averages in high school, but she's just a great teammate to have. I love her.
What's your role like on that team, CY Fair Elite? Are you the one bringing the ball down the floor, coming off pick and roll, or do you play more off the ball?
I'm a lot more off the ball for my Cy-Fair team. Aaliyah Chavez is our main ball handler. A lot of the plays are to get her off a ball screen and then just make the right decision off that, which we complement each other super well. So just being like able to score off the ball is so nice compared to like always having to dribble in high school. So just being able to come off screens and then just getting open by my teammates it's so nice having her as a point guard.
Coach,
thanks, Coach. Bella, you've seen a lot of different gimmick defenses. Sandia came at you with the triangle and two, and you split a couple of those. Coach Hill talked about that, and I'm going to get to Coach Hill, what he said here in a few minutes. He was very complimentary of you, and back in the day, Coach Hill and I used to throw a few elbows at each other. Man, Coach Hill was a heck of a player at Western New Mexico, leading one of the leading field goal percentages in the nation. Coach Hill really knows how to play basketball, but he's very complimentary about splitting double teams, things like that. And I'll talk about a few other things in a minute here. But talk about the gimmick defenses you've seen on the high school level. I had you against Coach Otero in West Mesa last year, and he said the same thing. We're trying to deny her the ball. She's going to be able to do this and this. We just do the best we can. Talk about the gimmick defenses you've seen. You expect to see more. If I'm the coach, if I'm coaching you, I've got to get the ball out of your hands. That's my game plan. But talk about some of the gimmick defenses and how your teammates have kind of risen to the occasion when you've needed them to.
A lot of people saw the Sandia game and just like the triangle and two they threw at me, but just a lot of teams aren't realizing that I'm not the only scorer. Like you said, Chioma Holyfield, Bailey Rolke, those two stepped up, especially in the Sandia game. They played a big role for us, and I feel like a lot of teams now after that game aren't able to do the triangle and two just because now they know we have more than one scorer, and that even if you do stop me, we can still beat you because we are a good team. And I mean, I still feel like they still will run a triangle and two. But like you said with Jay Hill, we work on a lot of splitting double teams, working through a face guard, playing off the ball just to try to get my shot going, get my teammates going first, and then get me going. So I'm not too worried about the gimmick defenses. I trust in my teammates and my capability to get us a win still.
That goes for every game. We talk about emotional being prepared emotionally. And every game you're going to get the other team's best shot and then some. And there has to be a chip with that from you, and I mean that a little bit of confidence and swagger. You're averaging 33.6 or 33.6 for a reason. When I watch you and Jesus Licon from Highland, I'm amazed. Jesus Licon gets off shots I cannot believe how he gets and draws contact. Mm-hmm. You shoot 83% from the free throw line. He shoots 88. So between you, it's not like you want to send you to the line either. It's a very difficult guard. So before the game, this is coming, and this is from the ABC level or the AAU level. You get everybody's best shot, but it's got to be a little bit different when you're playing with the talented players in the summer. But what's your mindset before each game? What's your mental preparation here in Albuquerque when that's coming? Every game it's coming. You're going to get the other team's best shot. How do you accept that challenge?
I definitely just go out there and try to do the best I possibly can. Not try to force anything. Just give what the defense, just take what the defense gives me. And as soon as my teammates start getting going, it starts opening stuff up for me. So I just know, as soon as, I get them confident and start going in the offense, then I know stuff will start opening up for me. So I just feel like the way I eventually prepare myself is just I'm locked in. I'm always focused, always, thinking about what I can do to help my teammates get going and just what I can do personally to get the ball in the bucket. But I just feel like I go in confident and not really worried about any external factors and just worry about my coach and my teammates.
Coach?
Bella, you're a tremendous scorer. It goes without saying. 33 points a game speaks for itself. You have so many different ways you can score the basketball. But I want to ask you, I think when I interviewed you last year after Eldorado's win over Atrisco Heritage, you talked about how you like scoring in transition. You can score in transition. You can score in the half court. How do you like to play more? Do you like going in transition, going 1-on-2, 2-on-1, or do you prefer to pick your spots in the half court?
So a lot of the stuff is me and Jay Hill always work on finding their spots. So I love scoring in transition. They're easy, quick buckets, almost kind of like a resting bucket. But I mean, the half court offense is always super cool just to be around, just because it opens a lot more things up. I get to show a lot more of showcase of what I can personally do. So I like scoring in the half court, and then I love the three ball. So I love being able to pull up in transition, especially.
For sure. Another question I have for you is you on the defensive side of the ball now. You're averaging close to 2 steals a game here in Albuquerque in the NMAA preps. What's defense like on the club level on the EYBL circuit when you're playing with Cy-Fair Elite? I mean, you're playing against some of the best players across the country. Certainly, you got to ramp it up on the defensive side of the floor there, not just on the ball, but off the ball as well. Talk about your experience playing on the defensive side of the ball on the EYBL circuit.
Defense is especially a huge part of basketball. A lot of college coaches, if you don't play defense, they don't want you. So that's one thing our club coach preaches to us is defense, defense, defense. You have to be able to put your body on the line, especially with charges, is one thing I learned over the summer last year. I think last year in one weekend, I averaged 11 charges. So that draws a lot of attention, especially for college coaches. But defense is a huge factor, especially because how quick they are on the EYBL circuit. You have to be able to move your feet and just stay in front and be able to contest every shot. But defense is a huge factor.
Coach,
you got a lot of long arms there too to defend, and you mentioned I think anytime you're going against competition like that on a nightly or daily basis, it only makes you better. And there's good guards, and Sandia's got some excellent players. Volcano Vista, I had the game when you lost to Volcano 72-53, and Coach Villarreal is one of the best coaches regardless of class in the state. 5 state championships. Have all the respect in the world for. Let's go over your schedule a little bit. Beat Manzano, lost to Volcano Vista. Beat Los Lunas, beat Cleveland, beat Las Vegas Robertson, beat Clovis, lost to Sandia, a win against Albuquerque High, a win against Rio Rancho, a win against Valley, a win against loss against La Cueva, a win against Cleveland, and a win against Rio Rancho. So the Eagles on a little bit of a roll here. 4 of their last 5, they've won. Now, what is it? Eldorado is 10-3 overall. District's about to start. And what do you think Eldorado has to do? You've got a good record. A couple of losses, some good teams. La Cueva's a good team. Volcano Vista, I said this on the last podcast. Now, they don't have the dynamic guards they once did. They're still very good. They're still very good. They don't Kennedy has graduated. Jalen Bates, Natalia Chavez. That was a very special group. But Lisa Villarreal still got them playing very well. They beat Sandia. They won the Metro. So just as you think maybe they're pushed to the back a little bit, here they come again. What does Eldorado have to do to get to that class, to the Volcano Vista class, to the Sandia class? La Cueva's a good team too. Hobbs Eagles, they lost. Hobbs and Joe Carpenter. I love Coach Carpenter, man. He's one of the best coaches in the state. What does Eldorado have to do to rise to the challenge there?
Oh, we just have to keep pushing. We have to keep trusting in Coach Ellis and in the process of our program. Coach Ellis has showed us a lot just to trust in each other and just to be as best as people as we possibly can be on and off the floor. So I feel like we built a lot of team chemistry. So we're just ready to push, and we just keep playing hard every game. We don't worry about the outcome like Coach Ellis always tells us. He says, don't worry about the outcome, just control what you can control. So we're just going to keep pushing, keep working hard, and we're just going to give it all we can. And our goal this year is to be playing in the pit.
You've got Highland and Piedra Vista coming up, and that's what we call the show, A Road to the Pit. And you played in some outstanding arenas, with AAU. And but I think you'd probably agree that playing in the pit is every young person's dream. It was my dream, and I was able to do that. And my son, Coach Nunez, was able to play there. And it's an unbelievable place when you run down that ramp. I don't think you ever forget that experience. And you played in some great venues. And I know you're appreciative of that. We've got some more questions for you about Coach Ellis and Coach Hill, but I'm going to turn that over back to Coach Nunez. I know you had some coach questions about the colleges that Bella's been recruited by, Coach.
Yeah, before we got on, Bella, I think we talked about 40 Division I schools have offered you a scholarship, and you were on Local Focus with Sebastian Well last year. You talked a little bit about what that process is like, but more schools have offered you since then. So just walk us through what it's like to be recruited by these schools, what it's like to be contacted by coaches, by recruiters, kind of what's every day in the life of Bella Hines when you're getting recruited like that.
I mean, it's super cool. You get to meet a lot of new people. Like, it's just kind of like things you dream of. Like, you'll never think you'll get to actually be on the phone with Kim Mulkey or have her in your contacts. So it's super crazy just being able to contact them every day. At first, when I was first getting recruited pretty heavily, it was a little bit stressful and I didn't know how to manage it all. But now it's kind of like second nature to me. I built really strong relationships with a few schools, and I'm going to be cutting down my schools probably next year around December. So I'll draw my top 10 around then. But overall, it's just been a super good experience. I couldn't be more blessed just to be able to experience what a lot of people don't get to.
Now, when they contact you, is it by letter now? Or it's by phone, right? They contact you by Because back in
Yeah.
the day when people were recruited without the cell phones, people would have stacks of letters, and not anymore. People just they direct contact you or text you. So that's quite a process. Kim Mulkey, wow, Zach Gentry, the former Eldorado Eagle who played for Las Vegas Raiders, his last stop here, had Nick Saban or Jim Harbaugh was in his living room. And it was like, man, those are some big names, and you don't hear those names coming to Albuquerque. You're talking to people from Albuquerque. Sorry, Coach, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. Go ahead, Coach. You were talking more about her recruitment. You had another question?
No, Coach. Go ahead. Follow up on that college recruiting. The more questions you might have had.
Yeah, well, you talked about this last year, Bella, but who's in your corner? I know you got a good relationship with your mom and your dad, but, walk us through the process of what it's like to eventually narrow it down to a few schools to where you make that decision to commit.
I feel like I have a lot of people in my corner, especially Jay Hill. He's not just my trainer, he's like my best friend. I tell Jay Hill everything. Jay Hill helps me through a lot of stuff, not just basketball wise. So he'll definitely be helping me he helps me with my recruitment. A lot of the college coaches I do talk to, I actually contact him too. And then the director of Sci-Fair, he always helps us with all of our commitments and just tells us which schools he thinks we'd fit best at, or just what relationships he has built with them in general, and how the coaches think about us and where we'd fit in their program. So definitely our Sci-Fair director, Earl Allen, and then Jay Hill and my parents, of course, will be big factors into where I commit.
You mentioned Coach Hill, and I want to say a couple of little things what he said to me this afternoon. And like I said, I've known Coach Hill for years. We played a lot of ball against each other. He used to play a lot of 3-on-3 hoop it up back in the day. And his late father, Joe Hill, never missed a game. These are just 3-on-3 street games, and his dad was always there. His dad was a big fan, man. So I remember seeing his dad there quite a bit. And Jay was a very competitive player, very fundamental. I don't think you could be learning from anybody better, because he's going to put you. He mentioned today she'd be in here today, he said, but she bruised her knee up a little bit, and otherwise I have to kick her out sometimes about the work ethic. He said that to me. Ed, it's about work ethic. She's got it. She wants to improve. He mentioned some of the shots that's working on splitting double teams. He's having you shoot one-legged floaters, things that probably when you're doubled in triple teamed, shots that a lot of people probably wouldn't think you would shoot, but you have to. That way it keeps them honest. That way it says, hey, I just can't shoot from long range or mid range. I can do this too. Talk a little bit about his development as a basketball player and how he's made you better. He mentioned too, you could your rebound is improved. He mentioned that 6.5 rebounds tells a story there. So you can rebound a little bit better. Now he said, talk a little bit about his development with you as a basketball player.
So I used to train with Jamal Fenton, and it just it didn't fit for me. It wasn't my type of training, but loved Jamal, loved him. But Jay Hill was just the better option for me. It fit my playing style a little bit more. So the minute I stepped in the gym with Jay Hill, it just felt more natural. It felt more the way I would personally like to play. And I feel like Jay Hill has changed my game to limits that I didn't even think I can reach. So Jay Hill's taught me a lot, especially just with different ways to score inside and outside the 3-point line. Just because he played overseas, and not everybody from different parts of the country play the same. So he showed me a lot of different shots, like you said, the one-legged three and the one-legged floaters. It's definitely something different. So it's not a lot of people that are guarding me will see or often expect me to shoot like that. So it just throws a lot of defenders off and keeps them honest from any parts of the floor.
Yeah, he's an amazing trainer, and I know Coach Mason at Coach Zamora at ABC. They're all good people. Mace is another guy. They're putting in work over there at ABC Prep and trying to make young people better. And I know you're spending a lot of time there. I've got a quote from Coach Ellis in a minute, but Coach Nunez, go ahead.
Want to touch more on some of the work that you put in, Bella, individually. I had Natalie Zamora, your ABC prep coach, on when we did your Eldorado Atrisco game last year. She was talking about how you put up close to 500 shots a day. And so I'm just wondering, in the off season, in between the high school season and your club season, how do you train? What's your regiment like? And how do you get prepared?
So the jump from high school to club is drastically, it's a huge jump. It's super different. The pace is different. We have shot clocks in club. So you got to be able to be quick, in shape. Everybody's a lot quicker. So you just got to make sure we're in shape. So as soon as high school season ends, me and Jay Hill get in the gym, and we just start working on a lot of different things. Instead of working so much on the ball, it's more off the ball stuff, catch and shoot threes, coming off screens, So it's a lot more off the ball. So my workouts do change a lot after high school season's over. But as soon as high school season's over, I have a few weeks and then club starts right away. So it's honestly, I'm always on the go as soon as club ends and as soon as high school ends. So it's just a constant go.
And I'm curious about the EYBL circuit. I know a little bit about it, but a lot of people in Albuquerque just aren't familiar with it because there's not too many players that play on it. How long is the season, and what are some of the different places that you go to? And just tell us a little bit more about that.
So the season is basically it goes all the way until towards the end of March, and then a few weeks before I start school is when it's over. So I don't really have much time to relax after club or high school. But we travel a lot. We traveled to a bunch of different places last year. Our first tournament is always Boo Williams. It's the staple EYBL tournament. It's in Virginia, and it's a huge tournament. It's our first EYBL session, and that's when we get our first gear package, our shoes, everything. So it's just it's a huge tournament. All the college coaches are there. So it's just a really cool experience to be there.
Yeah. You're getting to live an unbelievable life as far as the opportunities and people you're meeting. And you're only a junior. People, probably may think they see in the paper, oh, she's a senior. You've got one more full year left to go. One more good year of developing, getting stronger, getting better. And and you're putting in the work. And Coach Hill made sure to tell me that. Coach Ellis, I asked him today, who I've known for a long time, the former head coach at Hope, a good man, really like him a lot. Now I asked her, what's been Bella's biggest improvement? Hard to pinpoint one single improvement. Her game has gotten better in just about every aspect, and I think that's pretty obvious. She showed tremendous improvement this year as a leader and teammate as well. Obviously, it's a blast to get to coach her, mainly because I get the ultimate front row seat. So talk a little bit about Coach Ellis, and you're complimentary of him, about him telling you to, don't worry about the outcome. My problem was I worried about it. I worried about it 2 days later. I was still mad if I lost, but I get it. I get it. So talk a little bit about Coach Ellis and his role in your development.
Honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better high school coach. He cares about us more than just basketball players and as people too. And he's brought along two great staff members, Coach Zan and Coach Ari. They're just it's like a family. It's a super family-based program. But Coach Ellis, he develops our players super well. He's always joking with us, which makes it so much more fun just to be at practice and at games. And he's just really helped us throughout the season, and he's really gotten us prepared defensively, offensively, and just to be ready for this season because he knows what type of team we can be. And since we've trusted in his process, now it's starting to realize that to all of us, we know that we can make it to the pit and we can be state contenders this year.
That's awesome, Coach.
Bella, I have a question for you. Someone of your caliber who's getting nationally recruited the way that you are, you absolutely could not play high school basketball in New Mexico. You could use that time to train in the offseason, get shots up, just work on your game. Yet you do decide to play at Eldorado. Why is that? I'm just curious.
So actually it's we're the Eldorado train. So my mom went to Eldorado, my uncles, my aunties. And then my brother actually graduated last year from Eldorado. So as soon as I came out the womb, we all knew where I was going. I was going to Eldorado, and there was nothing that was going to change my parents' mind. And honestly, I wouldn't transfer. I would rather stay at Eldorado than go anywhere else. But I couldn't ask for a better school. I love that school. Coaches, friends, just everybody there is just such a great culture to be there.
Has it crossed your mind to not play high school basketball at all, whether it be at Eldorado, Volcano Vista, wherever? You could transfer wherever, but has it crossed your mind to just use that time, the high school season, to train, get prepared, get ready to play college basketball somewhere? Why is it that you like playing high school basketball here?
A lot of people have asked me to go play prep. I've had a bunch of prep coaches call me, ask me if I would join their prep team or go play prep. But honestly, I feel like there's not a greater feeling than being able to hold up the blue trophy in your hometown. So I'd much rather stay here and play at Eldo and just enjoy my friends and my family's time.
Josh Hines and your dad and Michelle Hines, your mother, always at every single game, they're your biggest cheerleaders. And that Eldorado pipeline definitely had an influence on you. You want to go there. You don't have to, right? And, you could go somewhere else if you wanted to, but you're an Eagle. And you're proud to be one. I like that. I really do. Is there anybody on the WNBA circuit or on the college circuit, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, that you look at and, you might be playing against these young ladies and women someday? Is there anybody whose game at that level or even at the pro NBA level that you emulate and you say, hey, I like their game? And, you're your own player. You got your own skills. But is there any players in either of the professional leagues that you look at and say, hey, I like their game you try to emulate some of what they do?
Most definitely Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers. I feel like Caitlin Clark, I just like the way she plays is kind of exactly of how I play. Like her transition pull-up three is like my go-to. And a lot of like what I've learned from Caitlin Clark is also from Jay Hill, because Jay Hill watches a lot of girls basketball now because of me. So a lot of the stuff he sees Caitlin Clark do will work on in like my workouts. So like a lot of the stuff she does, I just embedded it into my game. And then Paige Beckers, she's such a well-rounded player, especially with her mid-range. She's the one who actually I never really was a mid-range shooter until I watched Paige Beckers. So just like her and Caitlin Clark were definitely like two super big idols I have.
There's two good ones to have. And it's funny with Coach Hill. Coach Hill is not a jump shooter. He'll be the first one to tell you that. But he did his damage in the lane. And I mean, with the variety of different shots, mid-range, left hand, right hand, very fundamental. No, not anything spectacular. Not going to dunk or anything like that. But he was solid fundamental ball player. And that's why it's good that you're being trained by Coach Hill. Coach Nunez, we're about ready to wrap this up in a few minutes. You got anything else for Bella?
Yeah, I just want to transition back to the high school season, Bella. Your district, the district that you're in, it's got some phenomenal basketball players, including yourself. I mean, you weren't even district player of the year last year, which I was like, wow, how is that possible? But talk about some of the relationships and respect that you have for some of the other good players in your district. Some of the names that come to mind, obviously Sydney Benally, the Anatelu sisters up at Farmington, Eva Love, Jordan Dyer at La Cueva. Just talk about your relationship with some of those girls.
Definitely Sydney Benally. Me and her have been playing together since we were younger, and Hope Giddings. We've just been super close since we were younger. Hope's always been such a great player. So is Sid. I played with Sid for New Mexico Select when we were in middle school, and Sid and Hope have done nothing but grow and become better players. So playing against them is always fun. Great competition. We always go at each other, but off the floor, we're always still friends. And then, like you said, La Cueva, Jordan Dyer, and Eva Love, they're great well-rounded players as well. They're definitely going to be some good competition. They're going to push us. So I'm excited to play them. And then Farmington. So their sisters they're super cool. Farmington always has a great crowd. They've never been like mean, nasty to me or anything like that. So I always enjoy playing against Farmington. And I just honestly can't wait for the rest of Metro or for the rest of district.
Farmington, Farmington appreciates good basketball. They really do. I have to comment that when Volcano Vista beat you at home, it was on December 5th. I covered that game, and you're talking to Coach Villarreal, and I'm like thinking to myself, what's she doing? But Coach Villarreal, it was during the game. I'm watching from up top. I'm like, again, all due respect to Coach Villarreal, I really, have all the utmost respect. But I'm like thinking, why is she talking to? But her after the game, you and Faith Ortiz, I think, had arms around each other. So there's that camaraderie. You mentioned that. The game's over. It's over. I was a guy that was storming to the locker room, was mad for 3 days, but things have changed. So talk a little bit about the relationship you have with Coach Villarreal. I could tell there's a lot of respect there.
She's a great coach. Like you said, she's an amazing coach, especially in Albuquerque. She's definitely one of the best coaches here. She's always been super good to me. We've never ever had like bad blood between each other. Like I always enjoy playing against Volcano, especially Mila Espinoza, TT Hill, and Faith Ortiz. We've been playing together and against each other since I can even remember when I started playing basketball. And me and Mila have always been super close. Me and Mila are like best friends on and off the floor. So it's always fun. I love playing against Volcano. So I enjoy playing against them. It's always good competition too.
I'll tell you one thing, TT Hill, I look at her, I'm like, man, she probably played one-on-one with Jaquan and beat him more than once. That girl is a force. She really is. When she gets a rebound, it's like, you better just get away, man. That rebound is hers. A lot of respect for the program there, and of course yours as well. Coach, anything else for Bella Hines?
Last question, Bella. What are your goals this year individually? Obviously, you talked about hoisting the blue trophy. You want to play in the pit, but what are some other goals you have for yourself this high school season?
Definitely, I'd say a huge goal is Gatorade Player of the Year. I feel like that's something that I've been working so hard for. I thought I had a chance last year to get it, but fell short. But all it did was motivate me even more just to push harder in the classroom and in basketball season, of course. So I'm just excited. I hope I get it this year, and I'm just going to keep working as hard as I possibly can to get it. And if I don't get it this year, I know I got it next year.
That's all I got, Coach.
Bella, I'll tell you one thing. A lot of work to be done. You don't mind putting in that work because where you've the goals. To reach those goals, you have to put in that work, and you have with Coach Hill. You put in that A lot of players don't. I'm going to tell you a real quick story about a high school coach. I'm not even going to name who it is. They've got shooting machines at school, and nobody's coming to take shots. And he was very upset about that. I don't blame him. So you can't take your craft for granted. You have to work. You're putting in that work. Bella Hines, Eldorado Junior standout guard, averaging 33.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 2.0 assists, 1.6 steals. You've got 40 Division I offers, and there's going to be more. There's no question about it. We appreciate you joining us, and we wish you the best of luck on the road to the pit. We hope to see you there the rest of the season.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet.